Hi, I'm Pierce.
And I'm Grace.
And this is Adjusting to the Curve.
Yay!
So we're back for another episode. We have Amanda here, and if Amanda, you could introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are.
Okay. Well, I am Amanda Powell Robb. Yes, I have two last names because I'm married.
Yeah.
And I am the student care manager here on campus, which means I am a community and support liaison to all the students and some faculty and staff because they come to me as well. Pretty much connecting students to resources, whether within our Logan community or the local St. Louis community.
Gotcha. Okay.
Perfect.
Cool. So, with that being said, in regards to students and staff, how do you think you kind of talk to them about stress? Do they come to you and say, "Hey, I'm dealing with this," or do you just kind of reach out to them and check on them, or how does that work?
So it goes both ways. There are students that will come and kind of self-refer themselves to me.
Like me.
And they'll just be like, "Hey, I'm going through this," or "I need help with this," or "I'm trying to find resources for this, that, and the third." But also faculty, staff, can refer students to me and say, and their ASCs, for instance, are one of the main people that refer students to me, and in their meetings with students, they'll be like, "Hey, have you talked to our student care manager?" If they hear something while the student is speaking that might lean more outside of academic stressors, because they pretty much facilitate any stressors that might come up academically, but anything that's outside of that, they're like, "You might want to reach out to the student care manager, talk about
So
something."
there's two different things there. There's academic and then there's real life, I guess. Well,
And,
I guess academic real life, but
yes.
life outside of school stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because outside stressors can for sure impact your academics. If there's a lot going on, once you leave here, it can impact your study time, your just focus time, your time to reevaluate what you just read in class and all that other stuff. So yeah, it's a mixture.
We were actually talking about that on the episode before last, talking just about anxiety and things like that. So I think it's really important to have that person there to talk to. So with that being said, we have finals coming up. Everybody knows that. Everybody's stressing about that. Right. So what are some ways, Pierce's face, what are some ways that you think can kind of be stress relievers inside school and also out of school for those students coming up to take finals?
Well, I think one of the largest things, just from my experience, not only here at Logan, but previous institutions that I've worked at, that I see students struggle with that causes a lot of stress is time management. I think it's very important to schedule yourself out, especially the closer you get to finals week, to not only maintain a schedule throughout the trimester, but very much so during that crunch time, to make sure your time is pretty much money to you.
Yeah.
Because money is usually important to everybody. So if your time is money, scheduling yourself out that week or two before finals so that you're really strategic about what you're doing, how you're spending your time, I think depletes the amount of stress, because it's usually I don't have enough time, oh my god, I have to study for this, and this, I have 3 exams, and it's if you take time to just, all right, realistically, what in my life can't move? Students have families, some have children, some have work outside of Logan. If you look at your calendar and say, okay, what can't move? Those are my things. Okay, where is my free space? How can I divvy that up so that I am staying focused? Because when your time is your money, you're a little bit more intentional.
It matters a little more.
Yes, you're a little bit more intentional about it. Other than that, students seem to cram. We all do it. I did it in both my undergrad and my master's program.
I actually did it last night,
if
I'm being honest.
We cram, and it's usually because of the time management piece that we didn't, utilize properly. But we usually cram, but we don't take breaks.
I do that too.
Our brain needs...
You're really calling me out here.
Our brain needs breaks. I think it's important if you're studying that you, if you're studying, do 20, 25 minutes, take a 5 to 10 minute break, take a walk, even if it's just to the kitchen and get a drink of water and come back, take a break and start a timer again. Usually when I was studying, thank God I'm not studying right now. I'll go, nice. I know, I'm so sorry guys. Eventually I'll go back, but right now I'm good. What I would do, I would literally set a timer And once that timer is done, no matter how deep into whatever material I was reading, I'd be like, we're done. Mm-hmm. And I would go somewhere else, wherever you're studying, whether it's here or home, do whatever, set the timer for your break, and be like, all right, no school for this time.
Back. There's actually an app that, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like you grow trees with the time that it saves up, and then if you get on your phone or like a notification comes up, you press on the notification, it kills the tree, and so it makes you want to like not look at your phone and study for that 25 minutes. I'm so serious.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no. It's so, you're looking at me like I'm lying.
That's wild.
No, it's so serious. And then for like, you can set different amounts of time, so you can do like 20 minutes and then a 5-minute break, and then it will do that in a 4 set interval, and then it'll give you like a 30-minute break. So you grow all these trees, and it's like
never heard of that. That's
it's
crazy.
motivating. I'm so serious. Look it up.
You might want to put the link in the.
I will.
And
that's cool.
On top, like the time management thing,
Mm-hmm.
boom. I do a stupid amount of things. For what reason, I don't know. I just like doing stuff.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the try, I was like, okay, I'm a split try, so I have ample amount of time to do stuff. So let me make a schedule. I made the schedule. Mm-hmm. And I was following it, and I was going crazy on my first exams, going stupid.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, well, I don't even need a schedule anymore. And so now it's like I would stream a video game or whatever, play a video game.
Yeah.
And then I'd study before for like an hour or two. Mm-hmm. Just play the game, study for an hour or two after. And then when I had breaks, I'd study for a little bit, like 30 minutes, not even that long. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, wow, I know all this stuff. I'm ahead. And now it's like, maybe I should have kept that up. That would have been a great idea.
Yeah. Well, that leads me to my next tip, which is consistency. So that was perfect. You have to stay consistent. That's why these tips don't really work if you're just doing them right before finals. It's something like you almost have to make your own personal like mantra. Like it has to be something that you do all the time. And it becomes a part of you, and then it's just kind of like breathing. Mm-hmm. And there'll be times where you'll fall off. Like, that's normal, because it's human nature. It's just what we do. Right. But when you're consistently doing it, you create a habit. And as y'all know, every try is different. Every try brings up new challenges, new things. So you'll have to adjust. But if it's a part of your regular habit and mindset, I actually have my little board in my office that says mindset is everything. Mm-hmm. If it's part of your mindset, you'll shift as the tries come. Like, if next try, your schedule will look completely different. But if you have the mindset that, I'm scheduling myself out, I'm going to stay consistent with it, no matter what shifts happen, you'll still be in that mindset. Schedule, time management. But it takes a while to get there. But I think they say it's like 21 to 30 days to create a habit. Just keep going. And if you fall off, give yourself grace.
Me. Just come to me.
Give yourself some grace and just hop back on it. And just say, okay, we fell off for a week. That's fine. Next week, we'll do it again.
Sometimes I feel like you need to do that to kind of get yourself back in the headspace. That is one thing, though, I wish that would have been crammed in my head more was, like, if you get that schedule in the beginning, which granted, I mean, like you said, nobody's perfect. It's not going to be consistent all the time. But if you can do really well on those first couple tests in every class, then you'll be, like, golden towards the end. Because then you don't, once you get to the end, my brain right now is just like, I'm just here. I don't really know. But if I would have done a lot better on my first test in try 1, I think I could have gotten to the point where I didn't have to split, which it's given me a lot of time, like you said, to really reflect and, like, figure out what I want to do. Yeah. But if you can do really, really well on those first couple of tests, then once you get to the end, you're like, okay, I don't have to get an 80 on these finals to pass the class or whatever. So if you can get in that schedule early and, like, get in that studying mindset early, I think it helps so much. And
it's always, like, 20/20 hindsight. You know what you should do. And even, like, some of us when we grew up, we know, like, what our parents were like, okay, this is how you should study. This is how you should do it. Like, my dad, he used to sit me down at a table like this, at a kitchen table, and say, all right, son, you're going to sit there, do all your homework for, like, an hour. And whatever you don't get done, you do it later. And I remember, like, I think we still have the table, and you can see we're, like, etched in the table dang near of me, like, writing. And I was like, I know how to study, I know how to do these things, but it's, like, the consistency factor. So, last question. Can you, other than, I think you said mindset, what was the quote that you said?
mindset is everything.
Other than that quote, is there another quote that you have that you want to give the people, and what does it mean to you?
Ooh, I guess I change my letterboard. If y'all walk by, I change my letterboard pretty much every week to be like inspirational quotes, because sometimes people are just walking by and I'm like, they might just need that. What I had last week, which really has been helping me, is progress, not perfection.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think it's important, especially when you're in a rigorous program like this, you're not going to be perfect. At the end of it, you'll be a doctor, but you won't be perfect. But if you're progressing throughout your time here, even if it's in the smallest thing, if you started try one and you struggled with your, time management, or you struggled balancing social interactions with your, keeping up with your academics, but by try 3, you're like, I think I've gotten some balance. I think I've gotten my groove. You progressed. You didn't become a perfect doctor to be, but you progressed. And I think it's really important, because I watch the stress on all of your faces.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I see you guys in the hallway. But I think it's important to keep that mindset, like, strive for excellence. You should always want to strive for excellence, and no matter what you do in life. But it should be progress more than it is being perfect, because nobody's perfect.
I agree. I think that also goes to... True, there's a whole song about that, actually. I think that also goes with people outside of Logan as well, like not students. It can even correlate to their family, or just people listening to us. So I think that's really big in, like, work, the gym, anything you're doing, pretty much. So that's a good point. I'm going to have to keep that in my head. I'm going to write that on my phone and just look at it all the time. Yeah.
And with that being said, we appreciate you for coming through, through the show. Make sure you guys keep watching the episodes. We'll be back with another one soon, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.